And, of course, Lamar Jackson is playing this season without a long-term contract extension. He makes $23 million this year and then nothing guaranteed after that. And Rob, reports recently came out that he rejected a 6-year deal worth $290 million. Now, that obviously sounds great, but think about it. That's not even $50 million a year.
Right.
You know, and guys are getting that now. I mean, the $49 million a year is what it is. It would have slightly eclipsed Russell Wilson's yearly mark. But, you know, he turned it down, and he was $133 million fully guaranteed at signing. We don't know what that would have climbed to, but it wasn't obviously a fully guaranteed $290 million contract. And that's what Lamar Jackson wants, fully guaranteed money. And Von Miller, the great linebacker, now with the Denver,
Broncos.
Now with the Buffalo Bills. I'm sorry.
Right.
Of course, played with Denver, then the Rams, now with Buffalo. He said this on his podcast this week.
The quarterbacks before him, whether it's Deshaun Watson, whether it's Kyler Murray, whether it's Patrick Mahomes, you know, all of these guys got paid. And it's his turn. Like, that's just how it is. It's his turn. He's done everything he could possibly do to put himself up, to have a great contract, a contract that jumps all of those guys, because that's just how it works. You know, this guy gets paid this much, and it just, you have to carry the bar higher, and you have to do whatever it takes to get there. You can't take less. You have to do whatever it takes to get there. For him to be out of those guys the highest paid guy, because it's just a step. It's just like a how do I say it? A sliding. It's just like a little stepping stone. Like, once Kyler Murray went here, Lamar Jackson goes here. Once Deshaun Watson goes here, Lamar Jackson goes right here.
Well, that's how it has worked in the past. Jimmy Garoppolo, for goodness sake, Matthew Stafford, Joe Flacco, they were all, Rob, at one point, Kirk Cousins, the highest paid players in NFL history. Because it was their turn.
Right. I mean,
now,
you remember when
summer,
Stafford got paid, people went crazy, yeah. Chris. You remember that?
Absolutely. This summer, it has changed because after Deshaun Watson's deal, which was record-breaking, $230 million, all of it guaranteed, Kyler Murray took less after that deal, as did Russell Wilson, who was doing an extension. So that sort of shifted it up, but I like where Von's at, Rob. It just, why should things change now? The owners are trying to say that contract for Deshaun Watson was an aberration. Don't think everybody's getting fully guaranteed deals. I like Lamar holding out to do it. I mean, you know, holding out, signing a deal, but he probably needs to do a real holdout, Rob, if he wants to get that money anytime soon.
Well, at least, right. The quicker you do it, Chris, the quicker you'll get paid. If you go through the season, they'll franchise tag you. They'll franchise tag you one more year and then probably say, okay, you got a knee injury. Okay, thank you. I mean,
it's a good point, Rob, because like you said, they could franchise him and he wouldn't have to accept it, right?
No.
So he can hold out, but they still have the rights to you.
Right, but you have to sign it. You know what I mean? Like, you still have to sign it.
If he didn't sign it, but he still wouldn't be able to go anywhere else and play, I don't believe.
No. I'm not saying that.
Like, if he held out now, and look, this is obviously would be incredibly radical, but if he just held out during the season, then he could become a free agent in the summer, and he'd have more leverage. So, could they, Rob G, could they still franchise him if he held out? I don't think it would matter because I think he'd get the deal.
Well, he'd have to sign the franchise tag to officially be franchised. So,
he could
hold out and not get paid at all. Yeah,
right. And if you don't sign it though, the franchise tag, you still can't go anywhere else.
Right, exactly.
So not until his contract. He can't just become an unrestricted free agent.
No, he cannot
after this deal.
No.
Yeah,
so it's a tough spot. And the players never.
The time
franchise
was before
tag
the
is
season,
bad.
really.
Yeah,
the time was. Before the season.
Chris, that's when he needed to make a move to push them towards this. But, it sounds great, and people are like, oh, how did he turn down 290? Because it wasn't 290. That's why. It's 133 or whatever the number is. There's a big difference. Don't let people, we talk about it all the time, Chris and I. Those are phony numbers.
Yep.
Phony numbers.
It sounds good for the agent.
Yeah.
It looks good on TV, but only the guaranteed money is real.
Right. That's the real money, and that they want to get out of it, or Chris asks you to take a pay cut or restructure, they can do it. It's a once lopsided contract. It's just lopsided. Because you can't get out.
For Lamar, because of the way he plays, Rob, he's small for a running quarterback, right? I mean, what if it took its toll on him 2 years from now? Then he, instead of getting that 290, he'd probably get 133 or 160 or whatever it would become, 180. So, look, I think I hope he makes it through the season. He was off to a hot start, Rob. Threw 3 touchdown passes in their first game and looked good. Didn't run it as much. Only ran it 6 times. He's averaged about 10, 11 carries throughout his career. So Von Miller's right, and it'll be interesting to see where this ends up. But you thought the guy that really, I don't know if changed
dropped the ball,
because his contract, again, what we're talking about with non-guaranteed money, it was huge. We're talking about Patrick Mahomes, the 12-year deal worth close to half a billion
dollars, right?
But Rob, I don't understand, and I love Patrick Mahomes, but I don't understand why he did a 12-year deal. We can obviously talk about the fact that
I
most
got
of
you.
it's non-guaranteed. But even if he said he wants security, first of all, you're awesome. So, they're not moving you. But beyond that, Rob, if you do a 5-year deal, right, you got that's plenty of security. And
in
you can
NFL,
always do an
Chris,
extension.
Right. In the NFL, that is. And if he were to get hurt prior to that, they could get out. Remember, that contract was filled with outs for the Chiefs.
Right.
Chris, to this day, and this Lee Steinberg, right? Isn't it Lee Steinberg was his agent?
Yeah, it was one of the top agents.
Which is surprising, but it was not a good deal. And we got remember all those quotes and comments from other agents around football.
I can read you a few of them. Here's one. Deal was horrendous for all players moving forward. Now, thankfully, Rob, the other players haven't followed suit, right? And, I mean, obviously, Deshaun got a great deal. And Kyler, even though it's not fully guaranteed, and Russell Wilson, for that matter, they still got what you might say were better deals. It doesn't have the total money, but Mahomes will probably get that. I just hope, Rob, that with Mahomes, he can get out of that just on the sheer, honestly, they have to just do him right? Like, they don't have to let him out. But I hope he can get out and sign a better deal in a few years.
Yeah, good luck with that. I wonder about that, but I'm with you. Do 2 deals. 5 years, Chris. You be in your prime. Yep. By that time, if you had a couple of MVPs and a couple of Super Bowls, not just the appearances, you could look and you'd be on the mark. Like, what would you command? Now, where he is, despite signing that deal, he's going to be like the 12th highest paid quarterback in the league. 12.
That's ridiculous.
And Chris, only dropping because of the length of his contract. He's only going the other way.
Oh, look, with the length of his contract,
right?
It's not impossible. He'll be in the 20s easily.
Easily.
Right? But within several years. But anyway, Rob, to that point, who did it smart? And he was franchised, but Dak Prescott. And Dak took a smaller deal. Now, he's not as good as Mahomes, obviously. And let's see where he is in how many years he got left, Rob G, on his deal, but 5 years, 3 years left. He took a shorter deal because he knew the TV money was coming up. And that's going to blow everything out of the water, Rob. And so, smart for Dak, he just got to get on the field and play better.
Right.
And win.
But But he had better. And the Cowboys also helped the situation, because I doubt he would have waited, Chris, had the Cowboys come with the $28 million or $30 million. You remember at that time,
man, and
where
people were saying he shouldn't even get that.
Right, people were questioning $28 million.
Yep,
and I'm sure
doubt.
Had that been put on a table at that time, considering where he came from, and like nobody was expecting him to be the quarterback of the Cowboys. You remember?
Yep,
he would have jumped at that.
Yep, no doubt. All right.